Shungnak is part of the Northwest Arctic region, a very remote area completely disconnected from any roads to neighboring villages. Meet Anthony Sherman, his wife Irene, and their son Hezekiah. Tony moved to Shungnak to take a mission position that the Alaskan Conference had been looking to fill.
My wife and I came to Shungnak because this is where God was calling us to. We had been doing vacation Bible school here for some time, and we believed that it was time for someone to move here, and it was on our hearts to do so.
When the Sherman family moved to Shungnak, they did not have any running water and only a wood stove to heat their home. For the first 3 weeks, they lived in the small church and then moved into the parsonage right next to the church.
Well, the challenge is being out in the middle of nowhere when you don't know anybody. I mean, you know the people out here, but when you don't have friends and when you can't just get out whenever you want to, or when I want to see my family in the Philippines, I can't really do that, because it costs so much money to travel.
Some of the challenges that we deal with are, the logistics, the climate, the different struggles that are present in the village.
But I have my husband and my son, and I have God with me, so.
It's been a positive experience for us as well, because we're in the center of God's will, and to be in the center of God's will is no other place to be.
Tony works at the local clinic as a health care provider. Along with his colleagues, he is the first to address all the health problems and concerns of the locals in the village. Tony and his team respond to emergencies that range from suicides to snowmobile accidents. If any emergency is beyond what the local clinic can manage, he uses a medevac plane to transport patients 160 miles to Kotzebue. Through his position, Tony is able to gain the community's trust and respect, and he does not waste any opportunities to connect with people.
Well, besides our work at the clinic, besides what I do for my profession here, we spend a fair amount of time with kids as well as with mostly elders. During the week, on Mondays, we have a youth group that we do for kids that are 8 years and older, and they come to our house.
Yes, that's the book for me. I stand on the Word of God, the B-I-B-L-E.
On Tuesdays and Wednesday evenings, we try to make it a chance to get out to people's houses. Wednesday night, we have Bible studies with the family. Thursday nights, we usually on that particular night, we'll take our musical instruments and we'll go and do some singing with usually elderly people that are in our village. A lot of things that we do. Sabbath, we will have Saturday school for, Sabbath school for kids. We will try to hold adult services. Saturday night, we'll make a trip out to another elder's house. We try to be in people's homes as much as possible.
The church and parsonage were built in the 1970s, but have not had an active mission post since the late 1980s. For a few years, the building has been used for vacation Bible school by the Delta Junction Adventist Church. Tony and Irene have been holding Bible studies in their house since the church is not suitable for any fellowship during the winter months.
Our dream for this church is that someday there would be people in it. Right now it's not really fit for services in the winter, really, or the summer. It needs a lot of work, and right now we have no membership, we have no attendance, but our dream and hope and confidence is that God will provide us with a fellowship here.
This is a major concern for the couple since they have become well received by the community. The need to congregate somewhere has grown. Villagers have told them if the church was up and running, people would come.
We're refurbishing the church and fixing it up and putting lots of time and effort and money into it because we believe that God will supply the souls, that God will bring people and He will open up doors, and the time will come that we will have a fellowship here. We will have a church family.
The work needs to be done patiently, and prayers for opportunities are made every day. Although God is guiding the Shermans' mission work, the cold weather, difficult circumstances, and distance from loved ones are discouraging.
Sometimes my wife and I are discouraged when we're here alone. You know, we sometimes feel that we're just kind of out here by ourselves, and we are tempted to feel like we're not making the impact, and no one is really with us, and no one is really supporting us. And there's been times that we felt like it would be nice to maybe move and join a different type of mission field where there's people who are working together more as a team.
I'm kind of like seeing, what are my weaknesses, and that kind of like helps me to know at the same time, God is kind of like helping me to work with it. I'm very impatient. I want things to happen, and if I want it to happen, I want it to happen. But living out here, I learned that things doesn't happen when you want it to happen.
One thing that has always given us hope is knowing that we're doing what God has asked us to do, and we've had comfort in that.
To be a missionary is like leaving what you have behind and go somewhere different and getting out of your comfort zone.
Jade! What are you guys up to?
The coldness of the water, the coldness of the icebergs, kind of reminds me about the coldness that can come in the heart when you feel lonely, separated from God. And yet the warmth of God's love and of His people can bring into your life a wonderful connection that will help you not to feel alone.
The things that inspire Irene and I are, there's a few different things, but God will oftentimes provide opportunities. He will open doors. He will actually cause things to happen that give us glimpses of what He's doing. We'll start a new study, or someone will say something to us that gives us encouragement. We'll see some fruit of the relationships we're building with kids as well as with people in the community. God will do something to help us see that His work is being accomplished through us, and that our faithfulness is pleasing to Him.
The courage and faithfulness Tony and Irene have is contagious. Their determination to fulfill the mission is inspiring. God and His angels comfort them and motivate them to move ahead despite challenges. The faces, the sounds, the people, the landscapes, besides being so small and completely isolated, Shungnak is still a huge priority for Christ. The Shermans' example is a beautiful testimony of selflessness to revive the mission. They might be alone, but they are never by themselves.
Jesus is everything. Jesus is the reason why I'm here. If not for Him, I won't be able to make it, I won't be able to live here for 4 years.
Jesus for me, He is everything. He's my friend. He is my encouragement. He is my strength. He's the one I go to when I'm hurt, when I can't maybe even talk to my own family. He's the one I can speak to about every single problem I have. And He's the one who is changing me from the inside out.